Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Edwards Trades. Hope you guys are having a fantastic July 4th. You guys ate good food, spent time with your family, and all that good stuff. So, today's going to be a interesting day. I'm going to give a prediction of this week's trading session outlook and forecast, and I'm going to be giving my thought process and where I think this week is going to be heading. First and foremost, as I mentioned in my previous video, we still are at a current downtrend. We're looking at the Nasdaq 100, and then I'm gonna take a look at Apple, which is where I'll reveal my trading plan for this week. So, I'll also be giving the bullish case scenario and the bearish case scenario. So, first and foremost, like I said in my previous video, we've been respecting this downtrend for the past since the beginning of this year, right? The downtrend has been steadily strong, and we're still reaching making lower highs and lower lows, respecting this given trend line that I have drawn out here. One could say that this could be a potential bull flag case scenario, but until we break out of this trend line and form a new higher high, I'm not really expecting the market to turn around anytime soon. Looking back into the daily session of July 1st, which was this previous Friday's trading session, we were able, if we go into the 4-hour time frame, we were able to close on a green day. We did have an indecision doji take place during the I believe is the morning um, of July 1st, which is Friday, and we managed to close green on the day. So I'll give the Bulls I'll give the Bulls a score or a plus for ending the Nasdaq on a green day. But we're not out of the woods just yet, because clearly, as far from what I'm seeing here, we have a kind of head and shoulders pattern that I'm seeing on this case in point scenario. And so first and foremost, we do have some sort of bear flag formation forming here. We got the two poles, the top of the trend line, respecting it givingly. We would test, we'd hit each spot on the trend line, and then we would fall over, bounce on this support trend line, and with continuation to the upside. What I mean by this, basically put, is that we are respecting this given trend line, and what a bear flag formation basically is that if I take this trend line here, I draw it out here from this point in this given point, this is considered a bear flag. We need to wait for 3 points. So we got 1, 2, 3, or it's an ABCD pattern. So we're waiting for 3 points to be made. So we got the first point here, the second point here. We're waiting for a third higher high from this previous high. And this formation would lead to an increase in selling pressure, causing a break of this trend line and a fall over, or also known as a spillover. So this is the pattern that I'm seeing as far as the Nasdaq 100. So what I mean by all this scenario, and also we do have some sort of head and shoulders pattern forming. If I take it to the 30-minute time frame, we do have the left shoulder already being formed here. We have the base head here. Let me go ahead and get my drawing tools out here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and pick excuse me, the give me 1 second. I'm gonna take my drawing tool here. So we have the left shoulder forming here. We were during last week's trading session, we were kind of in a neutral position, respecting this resistance level of 11,1200. So we just a quick refresher. We managed to gap up on, I believe this was we managed to gap up and break resistance of this red line here, which is the 11,1200 here. But because of the fact that we weren't able to retest and confirm this as support, as we have previously on these given days here of trading sessions, right? We would break out, retest here, continue, consolidate above it. Because of this, we managed to have a spillover during my the 28th, which was my birthday. And because of this reason, I kind of figured that this was a false breakout move, and bulls certainly got trapped here, respecting this upper wick trend line that we just drew recently. So, with that being said, we do again have a bear flag formation forming on the daily time frame, which is what I have drawn out here. So, we also have a head and shoulders pattern forming on the 30-minute time frame, which is what I'm seeing on a smaller time scale, right? We have the left shoulder here we have the left shoulder here, which is already which has already been formed, and then we also have the main head here, which is the top part here. Again, we weren't able to hold above. Not only did we not take this 11,1200 for the Nasdaq 100 as support, we managed to hit the upper resistance, which was 11,500, and we weren't able to hold above it. And then when we came back to retest it during the 28th, we managed to have a huge fall over. And again, we were able to bounce off this trend line that I drew over here. So one could say two scenarios could play out. If this is a head and shoulders pattern, all we're waiting for is a right shoulder to be formed here on this section here. So what I'm expecting for the bear case scenario would be that the bearish case scenario or the worst case scenario, right? Either way, I'm looking at it. I'm making trading ideas for you guys, or this is my suggestion that I believe is going to happen, right? So two scenarios can play out. The bullish case scenario would be that we could open Tuesday session above this resistance trend line here, and as long this is a bullish case scenario, so as long as we respect this trend line and we either have two let me get rid of these drawings here so I can explain a little better. But if we are able to have, if we open Tuesday green or above this whoa, no, let's not do that. If we're able to open this stock market on Tuesday session tomorrow. So in other words, let me get my drawing tool here. If we open green here and we're above this resistance trend line, I can say for the short term that we are possibly bullish, because like I mentioned, where I'm saying previously is that we were rejecting this. We'd come close, fall over, hit, fall, hit, fall, hit, fall. We had a George W formation, the big W here, and then we managed to break out. But because of the fact that we weren't able to reclaim this resistance as previous support, we managed to have a gap and go, this little hole here, gap and go, hit the other resistance at 11,500, weren't able to hold, fell through, and that's why we didn't even manage to turn this into support, because we just spilled over and just literally collapsed over it. So the bullish case scenario again would basically be that, as I mentioned, if we open green on Tuesday's session and we are able to turn this red line into support and we have some sort of consolidation phase, I would like this situation to play out. We break this resistance trend line or we come back down, whichever way works, right? And let me get rid of this real quick. So, if we can turn this. I apologize for my drawings here because my mouse is kind of broken, so drawing this is a little bit difficult for me. I do apologize, but the message or the pattern is still the same. If we get some form of consolidation here, I would say that that's pretty bullish for the short term. We break this resistance line above it, get some sort of consolidation retest and go. Then I can say that we are in the short term having a bullish reversal, right? But I'm looking at the bearish case scenario because, again, we are in the 6 months. We are 7 months in bear market territory. So I do believe that what is more likely going to happen is this situation. We are going to open green on Tuesday's trading session. Stocks will end up opening here. I do believe that we're gonna either, if this is respecting the head and shoulders pattern that I'm seeing here, right? Like I said, we got the left shoulder here, we got the head formation on top of here, right? Let me get this tool. We got the top, right? If this is a scenario that I'm going to play out, we are just waiting for confirmation of the right shoulder, which is going to take place around this area. We get some form of upper. We do open above this red trend line, but I do believe we're just going to sit here, maybe have some sort of consolidation phase for the time being, and then we're just going to spill over and break this trend line here that I've drawn out here, and then continue being bearish and looking for lower lows. And also what supports my claim as well is that if we switch over to the daily time frame and we zoom in just a little bit, we are forming lower highs and lower lows. What does that basically mean is that our previous high has been forming lower. So we have a high here. You could say that here is some sort of high of day at that time region. So we do have excuse me for the drawing. We do have some form of higher high. Excuse me. So yeah, we have a higher high, we have a higher low on this bottom wick here. We formed a previous lower high in this trading session, and then we spilled over, and now we formed a lower low here in this region here. Let me get rid of this drawing. Let me actually hide it here. So again, we had a higher high, or this previous high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, and I'm expecting for us to fall over again and have a lower low at this region, which would confirm the downtrend and continue for the stock market in general to still be bearish. So again, I'm waiting for a spillover in this region here for the Nasdaq to go lower. So right now I'm going to move on to Apple, which is going to be my trading plan for this week, and I'm going to give again the bull case and bear case scenario. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking for the Nasdaq 100 in the bullish case and the bearish case scenario. So I'm gonna quickly go over to Apple, and let me go ahead and clean this up real quick. So, 1 second here. I do apologize. Like I said, it's a lot harder to do it with just using the touchpad. All right, so yeah, and also like I said, bear flag scenario here. So we're waiting for the big three. We got one. Excuse me. We have we're waiting for 3 points, so we're waiting for another. Even if we do open green, I mean, if this is respecting the trend line as well, we're waiting for an upper wick here to have this some sort of rejection here, because previously we were consolidating in this phase above this upper of this resistance trend line at 1200. You could say 12,000, right? We would break up here, consolidate, break, retest, 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 but we weren't able to reach this upper trend line here at almost 13,000. So we managed to spill back over, and again, we're retesting previous resistance, and we're trying to turn it into support. Right, so again, we're just waiting for another higher high to take place, or a lower high from this high, and then, yeah, we're going to have another lower low in the spillover. That would be my prediction outlook for this week, so I think we're going to see more downward pressure at the end of the week this week. Now, going back to, I'm going to go to Apple real quick. I'm going to do a quick TNA on Apple. So kind of the same situation because, again, as I mentioned in my first video, the Nasdaq 100 controls all tech sectors in the tech market in general. So Apple obviously is a tech sector. So once again, same situation. We got some sort of, you could say, a bull flag scenario here. Again, we did manage, or the Nasdaq managed to close green on that day's trading session. So previously, we did have a spillover, just like the Nasdaq did. We closed above psychological resistance, which is this red line. We did reject the 143 area, close to 143, and we managed to spill over. We tried it again. Sellers were able to push it down, and yeah, we did close on. We did have a spillover on the 28th, as you can see here. Red, 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 fall over. We did test the 137 level as support, as previous resistance, and now we can confirm that support. We tried a bull flag case scenario, but obviously it failed, and we managed to close below it on the. We managed to break below, and we had some form of a rejection, but we did manage to close. We did manage to close above. I think we closed at 138. So kind of the same situation that I'm looking at here. Again, head and shoulders pattern. I could say, I mean, it's a little bit different from this point of view, but again, we are respecting this trend line. We have some sort of bull flag consolidation here. Bull flag being that we have this. It's just like a literal flag. So we're waiting for a 1, 2, 3 break. And yeah, I'm not really buying this upward movement. Usually of the first month is usually a green day. So if we go to the smaller time frame here, again, what I'm expecting to Apple to happen is two scenarios, right? We do have psychological resistance around 139 or above 140, and usually, and the next major resistance from 137 or 138ish would be 143, right? 144ish, right? And like I said, mentioned previously, we weren't able to hold above the 140 mark. So we weren't able, so we ended up getting rejected twice from this point here, from this pivot here and this pivot here, and managed to fall right back down all the way to support this trend line here of, I think this was 133. We got a bounce, close green. So we filled this gap here, which is what I kind of initially expected the bulls to do during Thursday's trading session, previous Thursday, which was, I believe, the 30th. Yes, the 30th, correct. So case in point, same situation, same outlook. One can say that we also do have a bear flag scenario again. If I were to redraw this trend line here, which I'm going to do right now. Again, bear flag scenario. We could see a possible spillover if the Nasdaq does decide to close green of day, right? So we have this here. If I draw another trend line, we draw it from here, draw it here. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Wrong one. Excuse me. Right here, we draw here from this previous high to here, right? And then boom, we have another possible bear flag scenario. We got if I can just lower this just a little bit here. There we go. Let me draw this a little higher. There. We do have some sort of 1, 2, 3. So again, we're waiting for another. I'm waiting for a hard rejection up in this upper region here. So anything, I would say, The bullish case scenario is that, again, that we turn this psychological resistance of 140 into support. If we manage to consolidate here, unlike here, we managed to consolidate here, and the market is able to support higher prices, then as long as if we can break 143, in other words, I'm going to draw it out real quick. If we're able to open above 140, hold here, and bulls are able, with of course increase in volume, break out, hold, then I can say for the short term that we can be bullish. Again, it's kind of like the same play as the Nasdaq, right? But again, I think my bearish case scenario would be, right, the worst case scenario would be that we're gonna open above 140 Mondays and Tuesdays trading session. Excuse me. It is a short week, so we only have 4 days to trade, right? So I do think we're gonna open above 140, and we're probably gonna reject the 143 mark and then have a possible spillover. Or if we are gonna be respecting this confirmation of a trend line here, right, then we could possibly be seeing the Nasdaq try to form a bear flag, right? So we would have another possible push. We would go like this, reject this top line, and fall hard and just break this previous trend line, confirming the bear flag and scenario. So yeah, that is basically my outlook for this week. So again, the bullish case scenario for Apple would be that we manage to close above 140, accept this price range, break 143.87, turn that resistance into support, right? Consolidate, as you can see here, we did do it at one point, but we spilled over, right? And yeah, and then continue on forward and try to break the next resistance level of 150, and that would be the bullish case scenario. But again, if this is respecting this trend line here, and we are forming a bear flag scenario, right? Again, we have a bear flag here, right? We're waiting for the third touch because we have point A, B, C, D, E, F, right? A, B, C, D. We're waiting for that. A, B, C, and then yeah. So yeah. So again, bigger picture would be that we're gonna form this. We got one touch, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, it's 3 big points: A, B, C, D, and F. We're waiting for another breakdown to come to fruition. We hit this here, which would be around 146, and then we just spill over again, and then break down, and continue with puts. So the bigger picture, what I'm seeing is for this week, since again we are still in a bear market, I do believe that we're gonna have this some sort of spillover take place at the end of this week. So again, I do believe that Apple at one point, if we are respecting this, oh yeah, also, excuse me, I forgot to go over this daily trend line. Another bullish case scenario is that as you can see here, we are respecting this trend line, and every time it hits this trend line, rejects, hits, rejects, tags here, rejects, tags this white line, rejects, tags here, rejects. So as long the bullish case scenario would be that if we break out of this trend line, this big trend line here, right, the white line here that I just clicked on, if the bulls are able to break out of that trend line and also not break out of it, so not reject it, break out of it, retest it as support, then I can say for the short term it's bullish. But again, the bigger picture is that we're still at a downtrend. We still have a long way to go, and I don't believe that the close of Friday session is considered a bull reversal, because again, we are 7 months into a bear market. But yeah, hopefully you guys watch the whole video. I'm just giving my prediction outlook for this week. I do believe that we're just gonna go lower this week. It's a short trading week. I don't think we're gonna have some sort of reversal. I believe at some point in time, Apple will be at 132 later this week. Maybe 120s, 128 maybe. And yeah, that's just my prediction for this week. So depending how we open Tuesday's trading session, like I said, bullish bear flag scenario, bullish case scenario, we break out of this white line here, right? Hits, rejects, hits. If we can break out of it, right, on Tuesday's trading session, then I could be bullish for the short term. But the bigger picture is that we're still in a bear market, still a lot of downward pressure, and yeah, I do think we're still gonna have a spillover take place. Either way, even if we do open above it, if we can get past this trend line here and break out of this bear flag scenario, then I can say, then yes, in the short term we're being bullish. But remember, we still have lower highs and higher lows being formed. Let me go to the 4 hour. We got a higher high here, lower low, or a higher high, higher. We got a higher high, then we got a lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and now we're just wait. I believe we're waiting on a lower low. So yeah, that's basically my analysis outlook for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I try to make this as quickly as I can. But yeah, that's what I'm expecting this week to happen. Spillover. I already gave the both bull case and bear case scenario. So yeah, we'll see how the market looks like on Tuesday's trading session or tomorrow's trading session. So yeah, have a good rest of the week, and I'll post my results or another video at the end of this week. Good night, y'all.